Mastering active listening. A skill for personal and professional growth. In our busy schedules, we tend to underestimate a fundamental skill that might make all the difference in the world. Active listening. Nowadays, genuinely listening to people is a rarely used skill because, in our fast-paced working environments, we value actions that speak louder than words. Social media uses digital images that are powerful visual stimuli. Today, tech gadgets are making it easier for people to hear than to listen and to look rather than see. Developed by Rogers and Farson in 1957, active listening is a communication technique first used in therapeutic counseling and training. Mostly, it requires the listener to give feedback to the speaker by reformulating what he heard in his own words in order to confirm the understanding of the message. According to several studies, active listening skills are strongly correlated with higher job performance and satisfaction and are essential for developing empathy and building emotional intelligence. So, to improve active listening, you need a genuine desire to understand people, be sensitive to their needs and emotions, and really pay attention to them. How to be a good listener. Active listening is an essential skill for understanding human nature, influencing people and building relationships. It starts by paying attention and getting involved in a conversation. Really listening to people demonstrates respect, builds trust, and gives value to interpersonal relationships. However, all efforts to actively listen are meaningless unless we really believe that people's views, opinions, and concerns deserve to be listened to and respected. Being a good listener takes practice, concentration, and knowledge about language subtleties, awareness of body language and unspoken words. Listening is a fundamental lifelong skill that is always building on more complex communication skills. However, as with everything we learn in life, by mastering the basics, we'll be able to become good and empathic listeners. 4 steps to improve active listening. Pay attention. By focusing our energy on seeing, hearing, and understanding, we pay attention to others and recognize and accept them. We can safely say that there are as many worlds on Earth as there are people's minds. Take, for example, favorite childhood stories. Your favorite story can bring back emotions and memories, and it probably played a significant role in your belief system. A story can be perceived in different ways every time we listen to it. The storyteller will be in a different emotional state every time he tells the story. The same thing can happen to the listener, who will hear and understand it differently every time. At some point, your favorite story helped you understand the world and yourself, but today it might mean something completely different to you. Stories we listen that pass each time through 2 filters and live in 2 different inner worlds. The first world is of the storyteller, and the second one is the inner world of the listener. So, the story is perceived, remembered, and understood through different emotions, memories, and identities. Objective observation of the speaker is important to set the premises for active listening. Though it may seem the easiest thing to do when talking with someone, it's not. Paying attention to the speaker with authentic neutrality involves several conditions we should all fulfill when listening. The first condition, and the most important, is to start with the intention to listen and be truly present in the conversation. Begin by creating a favorable mindset for active listening and an appropriate environment for having conversations. Eliminate all distractions like phones and gadgets, and focus your attention on the person in front of you and away from your thoughts and daily concerns. You need to focus on the speaker without distractions and use your body language or eye contact to show attentiveness. If you are trying to pretend to listen and be concerned with something else, your body posture, tone of voice, and eyes will tell the truth, and the speaker will pick up your intentions. So, try to be really present and put the needs of the speaker first. Prepare to observe emotions, expressions, and voice volume or tone changes during the dialogue, and pay attention to the logic of the discussions. The second condition is to stay open-minded. This is a general condition, and it could be difficult to achieve because it's related to our judgments. It is much like setting neutral grounds and clear rules for a debate. To achieve an objective state of mind, create your own framework that is suitable for you. Try not to minimize and anticipate feelings, approve or disapprove of what the speaker is arguing, and offer encouragement reactions for the speakers to fully and freely express themselves. You need to focus and stop the thoughts preventing you from listening. We often ruminate on our concerns rather than concentrate on what we see and hear, and we actually end up by hearing ourselves, not the speakers. Also, to actively listen to the speaker, we need to be ready to accept different points of view. This is not an easy task because we all have a set of personal beliefs and convictions, and it takes practice to set them apart and act as an impartial observer. Paraphrasing and open-ended questions. If you think your understanding of the subject doesn't correspond to the meaning intended by the speaker, paraphrasing can help you. Check with the interlocutor by reformulating with your own words. Also, paraphrasing will help you prove you have paid attention. The objective of paraphrasing is to express in your own words the meaning attributed by you to the conveyed messages. However, sometimes paraphrasing might seem too obvious and abruptly interrupt the flow of the conversation. Use it when you think is necessary. For example, if you don't fully understand the message, you need a detailed explanation before replying, or you simply see that there is a contradiction in the speaker argumentation. To avoid awkwardness, observe the emotions during the talk and finally summarize, trying not to judge, make assumptions, or evaluate behaviors. We usually paraphrase to avoid confusion, to understand the speaker's intentions, to confirm that we understood the message, and to try to see the situation as our interlocutor sees it. So, during listening, your focus should be on understanding, clarifying, remembering, and responding to the speaker. Open-ended questions. Active listening combines the willingness to listen attentively and the patience to listen to understand. A really good listener pays attention, is truly engaged and present in conversation, and will listen with the intention to understand, not to respond. Open-ended questions to help with active listening. Addressing questions to keep up with the logic and clarify issues if things get confused during the discussions. To acquire good active listening skills, it is necessary to fully concentrate on the speaker, respond, and remember the conversation. That is why asking good open-ended questions proves that you are engaged in the conversation and paying attention. Open-ended questions for active listening. Open-ended questions are questions that need an elaborated answer, as opposed to yes or no questions, which are called closed questions. These questions are usually WH-type questions. The most common usage of open-ended questions is to understand or clarify the topic, or to summarize in order to remember. Be patient and don't interrupt. One of the reasons why active listening as a skill is underrated is because true listening requires presence and involvement, and most of all, it takes time and patience. It involves a conscious effort to understand what and how are people communicating. Having good listening skills can help people solve problems, build trust, and create a collaborative environment. Question your motives for interrupting, and only interrupt the speaker when you do have a good reason in mind. For example, you need to clarify or ask for details to understand better, repeat or summarize to follow the topic. If you interrupt to express sympathy for the speaker, give your opinion on the subject, or disagree, conclude, offer your advice, explain, correct the speaker, or give examples with similar experiences, then your patience runs out. Any interruptions that are not intended to understand the needs and experiences of the speaker will shift the attention towards you, and it can be judgmental to the speaker. So, being patient is not that easy, and we all need to practice more. The first person we need to start being patient with is ourselves. You actively listen when you allow the speaker to communicate without interrupting, and encourage discussions through supportive affirmations. Empathetic listening. Empathetic listening is a part of the nonviolent communication process created by Marshall B. Rosenberg. Empathetic listening requires being present. Also, it means offering the time and the space people need to fully express themselves and feel understood, and refrain from offering advice and solutions. In nonviolent communication, the rational understanding of people's messages blocks empathy. That is why offering consolation, placing people in an inferior state, or correcting their messages while listening, goes against being an empathetic listener. According to Marshall B. Rosenberg, the key to empathy is your presence, meaning being along with that person, hearing, feeling, and observing their experiences. So, while listening, you show empathy by acknowledging the speaker's feelings and points of view and responding without criticism or bias, facilitating a safe communication space. Here are a few tips for active listening. Ask questions when the flow of the conversation allows it. Analyze the message objectively without immediate judgment. Address specific questions to make sure you understand the message. Restate the speaker's message in your own words to confirm comprehension. Paraphrase, including facts while acknowledging the speaker's feelings or opinions. Listen to the entire argumentation and the speaker's perspective on the subject. Maintain eye contact and pay attention to body language. Remember key points of the conversation and write them down if possible. Show encouragement by providing appropriate verbal and nonverbal feedback. Key takeaways on active listening. To be a good listener, focus on understanding, clarifying, remembering, and responding to the speaker. Here are simple steps to listen actively. 1. Pay attention. Start with the intention to listen and put the needs of the speaker first. Focus and eliminate all the distractions to be really attentive. Stay open-minded and stop the thoughts preventing you from listening. 2. Paraphrase and use open-ended questions, so you can avoid confusion and understand the speaker's intentions to confirm what you understood in the message. 3. Be patient. Allow the speaker to communicate without interrupting and encourage discussions through supportive affirmations. 4. Show empathy. Being along with that person, acknowledging the speaker's feelings and points of view and responding without criticism. Active listening is the fundament of efficient communication, and it helps both understanding and managing your own emotions as well as recognizing and influencing the emotions of others. By mastering active listening, we can enhance our abilities to solve problems, facilitate a deeper understanding of people's needs, feelings, and perspectives, and improve our emotional well-being and the quality of our lives.